The FDA continued to investigate over 100 reports of seizures after vaping, adding to the growing concerns over the safety of e-cigs and other devices. For more on that, I want to bring in our guest this morning, former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb. He's also a CNBC contributor. The conversation, folks, that we were having off-air, though, was about CBD and whether you should take CBD before you go to sleep. There are people, I was saying, occasionally on a Sunday night I take melatonin. I don't know if anybody does that.
No.
Like little melatonin gummies.
Done that.
You've done that?
Yeah.
And now people are doing CBD. I want to talk to you about that,
I've
and
never
I want to
done
talk to you about this vaping situation. But you're not a fan of the CBD situation.
Sure. Look, there's demonstrated therapeutic uses for CBD. There's a drug, Epidiolex, that's been approved for the treatment of 2 rare pediatric seizure disorders. I suspect we're going to demonstrate other clinical uses for CBD, but you need to be delivering it in a purified form in standard doses so you know what you're getting. What we're seeing on the market, a lot of the CBD that we're seeing on the market, you're getting all different formulations, all different potency, and a lot of it does have high concentrations of THC. So I was taking calls on another show earlier this week on C-SPAN from a caller who gave CBD to a dog and said it relaxed the dog. The dog was great after getting CBD.
The dog was high.
Exactly. It might have had THC in it. I didn't ask her if he had the munchies, too. But when you get the CBD online, a lot of times you're getting CBD that has high concentrations of THC. So if FDA does define a legal pathway, because right now all of this CBD is illegal that's being put in food or dietary supplements. If FDA,
It's illegal.
Illegal. There's nothing legal on the market right now except for maybe some of the emulsions that don't get absorbed like creams and the drug that's approved. You can define a legal pathway to get CBD onto the market, but if you do, FDA would apply what we call good manufacturing practices to make sure it's being manufactured in proper formulations.
There's no purity standards, there's
Right.
no dosing standards. So anything that you consume is not legal.
Really?
I
didn't know that.
I sent Dr. Gottlieb a picture. I was at brunch one Sunday, and there was on the menu, there's a line that said, add CBD for $5 to your entree.
Yeah.
It's illegal.
It's illegal.
Right now, CBD, because it exists as a drug or it's subject to substantial clinical experimentation, which is a legal standard, you can't just put it into the food supply. Now, what I've outlined is a way companies can petition to allow it to be put into the food supply as a new food ingredient or a new dietary ingredient. But FDA would have to exercise enforcement discretion in the interim to allow it to continue on the market. And if they did do that, if they chose to do that, they would probably want to outline that it has to be manufactured in proper formulations. You have to good track and trace to make sure there's no THC in it, things like that.
So I assume, by the way, you must get approached by all sorts of people every day, venture capitalists and other people who are trying to invest in these new CBD companies. Do you ever think to yourself, I need to get into this business, or no?
Well, not so much the venture capital. I do venture capital work right now. Right. I think people stay away from me with these opportunities because they know my background. Look, I think this is going to be an opportunity going forward, but we really need to sort out the regulation in terms of how to allow this onto the market and what the appropriate uses are. Just because there's not a demonstrated therapeutic effect from all these compounds doesn't mean there shouldn't be a market for them. People should be allowed to use a substance if it's legal and otherwise doesn't cause harm. The problem with CBD is in high concentrations, it actually can be harmful. We know that. So you want to make sure if there's formulations being put on the market as a food, it's in a low concentration. It's not going to cause any harm.
But there's also another point that Dr. Gottlieb, you've made before, and that is we don't know. It's not just high concentration for one thing, but if you're putting CBD on your body as a lotion, you're ingesting it as a gummy, you're doing all sorts of other things, cumulatively.
There may be a cumulative effect. So you may build up a level of it. What's really ignited this debate was the 2018 Farm Bill, which legalized the growing of hemp. A lot of farmers now are growing hemp. Hemp's an industrial crop, but the CBD is a high-margin derivative, and they want to be able to put the CBD oil into commerce in order to make it profitable to grow hemp. That's really what's opened up this debate.
Can we talk a little bit about vaping and these seizures that people are talking about and the correlation between them right now? By the way, I don't know what's going on. Do you guys realize when you walk around New York City now, everybody's vaping?
Yes.
Like everybody.
You can smell like strawberry and, all sorts of weird vape
I know.
smells.
I mean, I know it's a thing, but I don't know. For some reason, this summer, it's like everywhere in a different way.
Well, my last week on the job in April, I put out a public health advisory announcing that we had evidence of 35 seizures that occurred in the setting of vaping, not directly in a setting somewhere a day later, somewhere immediately after people had had used vaping products. Some were in people who had underlying seizure disorders. We knew that was going to instigate additional reporting. When you report on a safety finding, you always instigate additional reports to come in. 92 additional reports is a lot. I think it's concerning. What you want to do is investigate those carefully and look at the potential for causal relationship.
Right now, right?
Right, but and things like, did the seizure occur right after someone used a vaping product? That is more suggestive that it was the vaping product. Remember, these vaping products are very high concentrations of nicotine, and the PK, the pharmacokinetics, are quite good on some of them. That's why they replicate the experience of smoking. So you're getting a very quick, high hit of nicotine. Could that precipitate a seizure in an adolescent brain? That's something they need to investigate. And
in all these cases, it is the nicotine that is under suspicion versus some of the additives that are used in order to deliver the nicotine to the system?
Unclear. I mean, okay. and some of these are polypharmacies, so some of these were situations where people were also vaping marijuana, THC.
Right. So this was not all the same, different brands, different everything.
Different everything. It's
no correlation between one or the other.
Well, I don't have the data now. I have the 35. I knew what I saw before I left. I don't have the additional 92 cases. It's always messy. I mean, anytime you get public reporting, you have to investigate the individual cases. That's why it takes so long, because you want to find out all the circumstances of each individual case. And that's what FDA is probably doing right now. They're going back and interviewing the people involved in these.
Should people be concerned that their lung tissue is actually changing because of vaping?
So. Well, look, I think vaping is a less harmful alternative to smoking. There's no question if a currently addicted adult smoker migrates to a vaping product, they're going to improve their health. There's no question about that. But it's not safe. And we had evidence, and we undertook a major toxicological study, which should read out really soon, to look at the long-term effects of vaping products on lung tissue. The other thing that's going to be out soon is the 2019 National Youth Tobacco Survey data. That will be out this month, showing if there's been another year-over-year increase in vaping among kids.
Are we looking at potentially warning labels on these things, like Big Tobacco had when they put warning labels on their cigarettes? I mean, what sort of regulation do you think?
They already have warning labels. So they're already regulated, and they have warning labels saying nicotine is an addictive substance. The vaping products, they don't have warning labels around the risk of cancer. If you have evidence, it would support a warning label.
I got one final question, and I want to get back to the markets at some point, because the markets, by the way, we should say, are falling down to about 144 points this morning if we opened up right now. But real quick, I know you have some views on Beyond Meat. We talk about Beyond Meat all the time. Talk about the health effects of Beyond Meat.
Well, look, I mean, it's processed soy, but there's no reason to believe that these are unhealthy products. There's Impossible Foods as well.
Impossible is soy, let's be clear, and then Beyond Meat is pea protein isolate.
Right.
But does it matter if it's soy or pea protein isolate, or is it just the fact that they're both processed in order to make it like a burger?
Exactly, and I've had both. I've eaten both. I have no reason to believe these aren't products that can be a healthy part of a normal diet. The space that I like a lot is the cultured meat space. If you look at cultured meat and also cultured fish, I think there's going to be a real opportunity from there as well.
Okay.